Hi, my name is Winnie and I'm going to do a review on the latest episode of Criminal Minds, which is episode 21, season 9. I'm going to jump straight into this episode. It starts off with these two girls coming out of a shopping centre with groceries and whatnot, and they are putting the groceries in their car. They reverse to obviously go home, and suddenly they see blinding lights from another car. One of the girls is like, I'm going to deal with this, and jumps out. Instantly, I'm like, girl, your ass should stay in the car. Sometimes when people are too fast with themselves, these types of situations can, start to get out of hand. The girl jumps out of the car and is like, I'm going to deal with this, mate. So you see the rearview mirror that the girl collapses. Her friend who's driving jumps out. Is like, oh my gosh, goes to check on her friend, and she gets tasered. Skips to wherever the hell Morgan lives in Criminal Minds world. So Morgan comes out of his bedroom, accidentally half dressed with his shirt half buttoned, and you see his beautiful bulging biceps, muscles, stomach thing going on. Not gonna lie, didn't hate it. It was nice to see. He sits down on the couch with his girlfriend. He gets a phone call. Obviously it's work, and he's like, sorry, I've got to go. She's annoyed. It's very obvious that she's annoyed, and he's like, you deserve better, I'm really sorry. She's just like, are you trying to break up with me? And he's like, well, no, but I don't want you to always be feeling like you're second best, whatever crap. And she's like, listen, I don't want to break up with you, but if you do, man up and say so. Don't try and blame it on me. Like, this is not a meeting, this is a you thing. So sort your shizzle out, figure out whether you want me or you don't want me. So obviously that makes Derek be like, what? But at the same time, I'm like, high five to the girl, because at the end of the day, it's clear that he's projecting his own shizzle onto her. So it goes to the BAU, and Morgan is checking on his phone, and instantly you see how JJ clocks that something's off with him. She's very perceptive. I'm loving JJ as usual. So Penelope goes on to describe how there have been 3 disappearances so far in Memphis, somewhere in Memphis, please don't ask me exactly where, and they think it's all linked with this fraternity. Anyway, moving on. The police division have asked for the BAU's help. Okay, so they describe how, 3 people have been missing. They've all been taken from parking lots and random places like that. They're flying down to Memphis on their beautiful private jet to sort shizzle out. So it skips to Memphis, and you see this person in a scary pig's mask. Personally, I always have a thing about pigs masks. Pig masks and horse masks are always a bit freaky for me. So you see how this person in a pig's mask has 3 people tied up and is basically torturing those 3 people, especially the middle one. So this unsub grabs this container, and the person that the unsub is torturing at that point, it's like, oh my gosh, water, woo! And you're like, are you a dickhead? Of course it's not water. If a person's torturing you, why would they then give you water? Clearly it's something bad that's about to kill you. So the unsub grabs the water, pours it down the guy's throat, and then you see it starts to burn, and there's bare smoke. So yeah, clearly this unsub is not happy with whatever the person that they are torturing has just said. First, that's it. They do more research, and they found that they were all at this fraternity party where the theme is pigs, because apparently the owner of the fraternity, or the person that started it up, was a farmer or something like that. Brothers of the fraternity, I think that's what they're called, are pledging. So they're doing weird things, having to wear masks and eat crap out of a pig's bowl. Lovely. I have to jump back straight into basically the crazy interesting part of this whole episode. So the BAU find out that the abductions have nothing to do with the person that died that night, that committed suicide. FYI, just in case I didn't mention, some guy jumped off the roof of the fraternity house, and that's why the fraternity house was closed down. So they find out that it's nothing to do with that, but it's got all to do with this girl called Lynn, who basically something happened to her, but nobody knows how or what or when, blah blah blah. But yeah, one of the ex-fraternity guys is being interviewed by Reed, and through Reed's cognitive therapy, gets the guy to describe what happened at the party, and he's described how 2 girls came in, one pretty blonde girl who ended up flirting with the head of the fraternity or something like that, and then he finally remembers how that girl went downstairs into the basement with this frat guy that she liked, but she didn't see how 2 guys before that went downstairs into the basement as well. So we can clearly, straight away, you can tell that obviously she was either raped or killed, or something like that occurred down in that basement. And then you find out through Penelope's research later on how the the ginger woman, her name's Sheila, her little sister Lauren, went to that fraternity house party. It was basically repeatedly raped by 3 guys. 3. Look, listen, let me not get too much into this yet. Let me explain the full story. So yeah, Penelope figures out how Lauren is in intensive care and actually has just died, because her sister has just signed the papers for the life support to be turned off. And then that leads the BAU to find one of the guys that went down in the basement with her at the fraternity house party, and he basically explains how Trevor, along with 2 other guys, including himself, raped Lauren, this innocent, beautiful young lady who thought she was just going to have a little bit of fun with a guy that she likes. And he tried to be like, oh, I was forced to raping her. And obviously, I think it's Jojo who's like, oh, did somebody put a gun to your head? And he's like, no. You know what? Is what I say to you being forced to rape somebody. That's disgusting. At the end of the day, you had a choice. You could have said no. You could have said yes. You chose yes. You're revolting. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your ass should be sent to prison. Can I just go, like, wow. As the story unravels, you find out that Sheila is basically like getting revenge for the fact that her sister was not only raped, rewind, she was forced by Trevor and those other stupid frat guys to drink a bottle of vodka because they were trying to make her forget all the awful things that they had done to her. Disgusting behaviour. And to make sure that like they're not like connected, they drive drunk Lauren and to her house, and they leave her on her porch. So as I said, she's passed out on her driveway. By the time her sister comes, she's been out in the cold for ages, so therefore she's caught hypothermia. Like another, that was just a bit like, whoa, awful. Yeah, from her injuries and from the hypothermia, she has basically had some type of cardiac arrest. Basically, she's gone into a coma, and that's basically it for the poor Lauren. And Sheila's the one that is left to look after her sister and be the one that has to decide whether her sister's life support has been turned off, because her mother died like 6-7 years ago of like, I think, cancer or something awful like that. And also, side note, she's also been like made bankrupt from all the hospital bills for her mother and obviously the hospital bills for her sister. Once again, I realise how America do not have the NHS, and I feel awfully horrible for you. Let me make it clear. The 3 people that she's kidnapped at this point is Lauren, her little sister's friend that she went to the fraternity party with, one of the other guys that raped her, and then this older guy. You find out that this older guy helped cover up the rape and brutal beating, like slap around and like just everything of her sister. First of all, he's a grown-ass man. He should know better. Absolutely disgraceful. Apparently he's like the fixer-upper, the person that cleans up after all the football guys, like fraternity people's shenanigans. Sorry, I shouldn't have said football. Fraternity guys' shenanigans. To me, it's different. Like, oh, okay, apparently he sorts out when they have like a DUI or something like that. But this is rape. How could you not understand as a grown-ass man? Actually, no, not even say as a grown-ass man. From the age of, I'm going to say 15, 16, you fully are aware of yes or no, bad, good, etc, etc, etc. You're a grown-ass man, so you have no excuse for your disgraceful behaviour in covering up the rape of that poor girl. And I'm not going to lie, if somebody raped my baby sister, you done know my ass is coming after you with machete, a gun, some rope, because I'm going to hang your asses. Let me tell you now, you would not be able to find the bodies. On a side note, I promise I'm not no crazy killer. I'm just saying, in the theoretical, fictional world of, TV and whatnot, my ass would definitely, cut some shit up if somebody came after my sister. 3 people raped her little sister, and from that, she caught hypothermia because she was left on the porch by these dickheads that thought they were doing her a favour, and she had a heart attack, and she died from it. Just wow. Just wow. But rewind, the reason why Sheila knows about these 3 or 4 people that were involved is because before she passed out, her sister left her a voice message explaining the awful thing that occurred to her. Anyway, the BAU catch up with Sheila in this abandoned place near the fraternity house that her sister was raped in. They're like, we will we know what happened and we will get justice for everything that's occurred to your sister, because what happened to her was just not right and it was disgusting. Her sister finally realises, like, shit, I've gone too far, drops like the spade in her hand because she was about to like start like killing somebody else. Oh, at this point she's already killed the old man that helped cover up her sister's rape, which, I'm not gonna lie, high five to you. Like, let me do that again. High five to you, because your ass, you know, you was just looking out for your sister. Sure, you know, you went a little bit like loco, but you were obviously traumatized and grief-stricken and many other things that I'm so sorry about. I know you're not a real person, but I just felt that. Let me just say sorry. Yeah, the BAU convinced her to not kill another person. She gets to witness one of the guys that raped her being taken into custody, and the body bag of the guy that covered up her sister's murder, blah, blah, blah. And then the girl that, you know, said to, like, oh, she was my friend, we weren't best friends, but like, I didn't know she was raped, I'm so sorry, she luckily survives. Because I just think, like, you know, it's not her fault. Yeah, she didn't check on her friend in the hospital, but, you know, she was probably shook and scared herself. Oh, rewind. Oh my gosh. The original doctor who saw to Lauren when she first came into the hospital, listen to this shocking piece of evidence, news I should say, he's a doctor. Originally in his like notes from her, he says how it's clear that Lauren was raped 3 times by 3 different assailants, and they did not use a condom, so there's 3 different types of DNA. And apparently he changed this piece of documentation because the other guy that Sheila abducted was friends with the doctor and was basically like, oh, don't rat out on these college dudes, please cover it up. So the doctor actually covered it up. Oh, disgusting. And changed his notes and said that Lauren just had rough sex and just got really drunk. Doctors are supposed to be moral, not corrupt. You're not supposed to be changing or falsifying documents, whatever the word is. You're disgusting. I hope you go to prison too. He is going to go to prison too. And your ass should not be a doctor and should not be saving lives when your ass can't even figure out what is wrong and right. Gets to the ending of the episode and Sheila gets arrested. I'm really sorry. This is the one time where like I wasn't like cheering at the unsub being caught, because at the end of the day, I don't know, I just feel like such awful traumatizing things happened to her, and obviously that doesn't excuse her rampage, but she clearly wasn't in her right mind, and she was right to not be in her right mind. Okay, moving on. So it skips to the bit on the plane and JJ walks up to Morgan and is like, oh, you've been a bit distracted, is it a who or a where? And Morgan like, it's a who. JJ's basically like, oh, is it SDU time already? She doesn't understand that's what SDU stands for. Basically, apparently, Morgan always has this moment in his relationship where he's like, the woman that I'm with doesn't understand my job. JJ's basically like, if you carry on like that and keep shutting girls down, you're going to be alone, and you're going to have to accept that you're going to be alone. So it's either you like this girl and you want to be in a relationship with her, or you don't. But either way, be honest. So you see, at the end of the episode, Morgan goes up to his hot little girl. I'm not going to say little because she's a grown-ass woman. Hot, beautiful, grown-up lady. Anyway, so he's basically like, oh, I love you. I'm really sorry for my stupid-ass behaviour. And she's like, I love you too. Thank you for apologising. Let's go pick up my parents. So, cute little moment again when they're walking away to the lift so she can go pick up, she and he, Morgan and his girlfriend, can go pick up her parents. He's like, oh, I'll drive. And she's like, I've seen the way you drive. I'm driving. And he's like, for real? And she's like, for real, this is how it's going to go. He's like, cool. And then, you know, they link arms. You could tell that they're going to get freaky dicky later on after her parents have gone back to wherever they're from. That was an incredible episode. Once again, Criminal Minds, directors, actors, everybody, you delivered. I'd give you another 10 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And this is the end of my review. Bye.